Hello friends, we are continuing with the classic social chapter 1. Okay, locating places on the earth. We already uploaded certain videos. If you are not watching that video, just check the link above. Okay, so after viewing that particular videos, just continue this video. Okay, I hope you watched the earlier video and we can continue. I hope you remember what we studied in the last class, that is coordinate. Okay, coordinate basically used to represent a particular position. Okay, so here this particular one can be represented as D, then 4. Okay, D4. I hope you remember. If you don't understand this particular thing, just watch the previous video. Okay, I am explaining with a lot of example. You can study from that. Okay, so we are continuing. Now we can understand the basic concept of latitude. Okay, latitude is very important, not only for your board exam, okay, but also for future exams, including the civil service exam. Okay, so I am taking into a deeper level. I will be slow. Okay, just listen carefully. Within a globe, it is easy to understand the North Pole and the South Pole on it. So basically this is a globe. Okay, this is a globe, and at the top you have the North Pole and at the bottom you have the South Pole. That you already know, isn't it? Rotate the globe. While it rotates, fixed point at the top and bottom are the two poles. So you can just imagine, or I will show the figure of the globe. Okay. So within the globe, if you are rotating this particular globe, okay, if you are just rotating like this particular point, this is a North Pole. This is a South Pole. Okay, so these two attached points, they will be the poles. Okay, that point will be fixed and other point will be rotated if you are rotating the globe. That you understand, isn't it? So this is a globe, this is India. Okay, so I am just focusing the India, and you can see if you are rotating, India is going towards the east. Now it is coming from the west. As you can see, this India is on the western side, isn't it? If the earth is rotating, it will move towards the east, then it will be go towards the back side. Okay, then it will be coming again on the western side. I will show you. Okay, so now it is on the western side, now it is moving towards the east. So this is how this particular rotation take place. I hope you get an idea what you mean by rotation. Okay, when earth is rotating, the points on the earth just rotate. Okay, so they will rotate from the west to east. Okay, that is the direction, west to east, west towards east. I hope you understand the meaning of west to east. Points are moving from the west towards the east. Okay, that is the meaning of the west to east. Now it is on the west, India is moving towards the east. Okay, that is the meaning of rotating from west to east. I hope you understand, isn't it? Okay, now we can continue. Halfway between them is the equator. This particular them means North Pole and the South Pole. Okay, so between that particular thing there is a equator. Equator is a line just like this. Okay, this is not a line, this is a circle. Okay, that particular circle encircle the earth. Okay, so it will be continue at the back side like this. Okay, so it will be continue back side like this, and it's a continuous line. I will show in the globe also. Okay, now you can see an equator, isn't it? That particular equator is a line. Okay, equator is a line which is passing between the east and west. Okay, you can see India is on the northern side of equator. Okay, so we will say this particular equator will divide the earth into two. Okay, two equal halves. Okay, that is northern hemisphere north of the equator and southern hemisphere south of the equator. That equator is a continuous line. Okay, I will show you. This particular line is a continuous line and it is encircling the earth. Okay, so this is earth. Okay, so here it is a North Pole and here it is a South Pole. Now you can see a line at the middle, that is the equator. Okay, that line is passing from the back side, just continue like this. Okay, this is encircling the earth. Just imagine, okay, this particular thing is a 3D figure. I will just show the plane. Okay, so this particular thing is a plane. Plane means that particular 3D figure you are just cutting across this particular line, then you will get something like this, isn't it? Can you imagine? Just assume this is an apple. Okay, I am just cutting across the middle. Okay, so that particular cutting plane is the plane that I mark. Okay, that is a plane through the equator. That much you understand, isn't it? This is very basic points, simple points, but you need to understand. Okay, imagine that you are standing on the equator and travel towards one of the pole. Your distance from the equator increases. They are saying we are starting from the equator towards the pole. Okay, now you are here. You are here. Okay, so this is a distance, isn't it? This distance is D1. Okay, now you are further moving. Okay, further you are moving. Okay, now you are here. Okay, then that particular distance will be D2. Okay, so this particular distance will be more than D1, isn't it? So if you are moving towards a pole, then your distance from the equator will increase. Okay, that you understand, isn't it? Latitude measures the distance from the equator. Okay, so this is equator. We are taking a particular distance from the equator. For example, this much. Okay, so that particular distance means this particular distance between the equator and that particular point. Okay, just assume you are marking such a point in the globe. Okay, then you are connecting all such a point. You can do the same in the other hemisphere also. Okay, that means here in the southern hemisphere we are just taking a particular distance here and we are marking all such a point. Okay, all such a point we are marking and we are just connecting all these particular points. Okay, then we are getting another parallel latitude. Okay, this is parallel latitude. Latitude basically denote that particular distance. Okay, this particular distance is actually determined by a angle that I will explain soon. Okay, so that particular distance between each point in a particular latitude from the equator, this particular distance will be equal to this particular distance, like that. Okay, so the distance remain the same throughout the latitude. Okay, so the distance between the equator and the parallel latitude remain the same. Okay, I hope you understand what you mean by this particular distance, isn't it? So there will be an equator and there will be a lot of parallel latitude which are at a particular distance from the equator. That is the meaning. Okay, again it is easy to note on the globe that largest circle is the equator, while circle marked by the parallel latitude grows smaller as we move northward or southward. So we can just consider equator. Okay, so this is the globe. Just assume this is the equator. Okay, so this is the equator and it is continuing on the other side like this. Okay, I'm just drawing only one side, so this is the equator. Another parallel latitude will be like this. Okay, another one will be this particular black color one. Okay, it is clearly shown that this red color one will be the largest circle, isn't it? If it is encircling the earth, this red color one will be the largest and this particular black color is the smallest among the three, isn't it? Similarly, if you are going towards the pole, that particular circle will become smaller and smaller. Okay, I will draw another one here. Okay, so this will be more smaller, that particular green color one, isn't it? If you are moving towards the pole, that particular circle will become smaller and smaller. I will show on the globe. Okay, so this is a globe and this is the equator. Okay, so this particular red color one, this is the equator. Okay, that equator is continuing on the other side. I am not drawing. Okay, now we can consider a particular encirclement here. Okay, so this is a one encirclement. This is continuing like this. Okay, so this is one and we are moving towards the pole. Okay, we are moving towards the pole. We are drawing another one. Okay, this is another one. Okay, this is another one. Then again we are drawing another one. This is another one. Okay, then we are moving towards the north pole again. So this is another one. Okay, it is clearly shown that this particular red color one will be the largest and this particular black color one will be the smallest. That means if you are moving towards the pole from the equator, okay, if you are moving towards the pole from the equator, that particular circle, diameter of the circle will be reducing, isn't it? So that's what they are saying. I hope it's clear, isn't it? Latitudes are expressed in degree. Okay, we can understand what you mean by this particular degree. Just assume this is a globe. Okay, so this is a globe and I'm just drawing the equator. Okay, so this is the equator. It is passing through the middle. Okay, I'm just continuing it on the other side, so it will be something like this. Okay, just assume this is an apple. You are just cutting across the middle. Okay, then you get a particular plane, isn't it? That particular plane I am just drawing here. This is a plane. Okay, so you are cutting the apple through the middle. That particular cutting plane is I am just drawing, isn't it? Now we are marking the center of the earth. Okay, so this is a center. That center will be at the equator plane. Okay, just assume that equator plane as a circle, then that particular center of the circle will be the center of the earth. Do you understand? This whole thing is a sphere. Okay, if you are cutting, just assume the apple, then you will understand better. Okay, if you are cutting an apple, that particular white color portion you see, isn't it? On the each half there is a white color portion. At the middle of that particular white color portion, that is the center of the earth. Okay, now we are taking a particular angle. Okay, for that we are just considering this particular plane and we are drawing a particular line with an angle. Okay, just assume this is the line. Okay, so this line is at a 30 degree. Just assume this is 30 degree. Okay, so this is 30 degree and we are just drawing a particular point on the surface. That means we are just drawing a point on the surface of the globe. Okay, with a particular angle 30 degree and we are marking all such a point on the surface of the earth which are at a 30 degree. Okay, so just assume this particular 30 degree angle, you are just moving towards here, like that. Okay, so you are just connecting all such a point. Okay, then you will get something like this. Okay, so there is a line like this. Okay, on the other side also you will get lot of point. That particular point altogether constitutes a circle. That is the one parallel latitude. That particular parallel latitude is known as 30 degree north. Okay, so this is 30 degree north. Do you understand what you mean by 30 degree north? 30 degree north means that particular angle with this particular equator plane. That angle will be 30 degree. Okay, so we are marking all such a point on that particular surface of the globe which are at a 30 degree from the equator. If you are marking at the northern hemisphere, that is called 30 degree north. If you are marking at the southern hemisphere, okay, then it will be 30 degree south. I will just draw something like this. Okay, so this will be 30 degree south. Why? This particular angle, okay, this particular angle will also be 30 degree. Okay, just imagine this is a 3D figure. Okay, I will just show another figure also. So this is a earth. Okay, this is a earth, and we are just marking the equator. This is the equator. Then we mark the center of the earth, that is here. Okay, then from that we are just marking the equator plane. Equator plane means through equator we are cutting the apple. Okay, we are cutting through the equator, that is the equator plane. Okay, from that we are taking a particular angle. This angle is 40 degree. Here it is taken as 40 degree, and we are marking the particular point on the surface of the earth. Okay, so we are marking one point here, one point here. Okay, and we are just continuing on the other side, and we getting something here. Okay, then we are getting something here, and we are getting something here, then here, then here, then here, like that. Okay, then we are connecting all such a line. Okay, we are connecting all such a line, and what we getting is the 40 degree north. 40 degree north. Okay, I'll show another one also. Okay, that particular angle, okay, that is called angular latitude, and that particular line which is connecting all such a point which are at a 40 degree. Okay, that particular line that we just drawn. Okay, that particular line that we just drawn, that line is called parallel latitude. Parallel latitude, this green color one. Okay, so what is the name of that particular parallel latitude? That is the 40 degree north. Why north? Why not? Because we are drawn this figure on the north of the equator, isn't it? So north of the equator, so the equator divides the globe into two, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. If you are drawing on the north, we are just denoting by 40 degree north. If you are doing on the south, it will be 40 degree south. Okay, like that. I will draw another one. Okay, just assume you are considering this one. Okay, just assume this is 60 degree. Okay, so this particular angle is 60 degree. 60 degree with what? 60 degree with the equator plane. Okay, with the equator plane you understand, isn't it? You are cutting the apple through the equator. That plane, particular plane, is the equator plane. We are making an angle 60 degree, and we are marking just that particular point. Okay, then we are marking another point. Okay, and we are doing the same throughout the surface of the earth. We are marking here, we are marking here, we are marking here, we are marking here, and we are just connecting all such points. Okay, then we get a particular line. That particular line we can call 60 degree north. 60 degree north. Do you understand? This particular 40 degree north, one parallel latitude. Then this 60 degree north, that is another parallel latitude. So why they are called parallel latitude? Because the distance between the equator and that particular line will be same throughout. Okay, so this particular distance will be equal to this particular line. Okay, this particular distance will be throughout the same. Okay, throughout the particular line, distance with the equator will be same, and all such lines are parallel to each other. So that's why they are called parallel latitude. This one, this one, this one, all are parallel, isn't it? So all these lines are parallel to each other. So that is why they are called parallel of latitude. Okay, by convention, equator is latitude 0 degree. Okay, so that particular equator, we will consider that particular equator as 0 degree. Why 0 degree? Because this is the equator plane. Okay, so we are considering that particular angle with respect to this particular plane. Okay, so that particular plane itself will be at a 0 degree. Means there is no angle here, isn't it? That particular line remaining at that particular plane. Just assume you are just cutting the apple and you are drawing a particular line on the apple. That particular line will not make any angle, isn't it? If it is making some angle, it will be out of that particular plane of the apple, isn't it? So that particular angle will be 0 here within that particular equator plane. So equator will be considered as 0 degree. Okay, so we will denote the equator with 0 degree. Then while the latitude of the two poles are 90 degree north and 90 degree south respectively, this is noted as 90 degree north and 90 degree south. Just assume this is a north pole. Okay, so this is a north pole, and that particular angle making with the equator plane, this angle will be 90 degrees, isn't it? Then similarly, this is a south pole. Okay, So that particular angle which are making with the equator plane, that angle also 90 degree, isn't it? So that's what they are saying. This is 90 degree north, 90 degree north. Okay. Then similarly, this is 90 degree south. This much you understand, isn't it? So the concepts are very simple, but you need to understand. Okay. So you need to listen, you need to understand. Okay. If you feel any difficulty, just watch the video once more. Okay. You will understand. Okay. If further difficulty, just comment. I will help. Okay. Then they are saying there is a connection between the latitude and the climate. Latitude you understand, isn't it? So basically, what is latitude? This is the Earth. Okay. So you are just marking the equator and you are just taking a particular angle. That particular angle is the angle of latitude, and we are just marking all such a point. We get a one parallel latitude. Okay, then we are just taking another angle and we are just drawing the same, and we are getting another parallel latitude. So these kind of line which are passing from the west to east. This is west, isn't it? This is east. It is passing between the west and east. Such lines which are parallel to each other. These all lines are parallel to each other. This particular green line will be parallel to this particular blue line, will be parallel to this particular red line, isn't it? So all such lines are parallel to each other. So we will call as parallel latitude. Okay, this much you understand, isn't it? So latitude is a line which is passing between the west and the east. Okay. So they are given that particular latitude and the climate have a connection. What do you mean by climate? Weather update you may be seen in the news, isn't it? So in weather update, they may be talking about the temperature of a particular area or pressure of a particular area, like that, isn't it? That particular weather we are calculating for a long period, 30-40 years. Okay, then we are taking the average. That particular thing is called climate. Okay, climate and weather both are same, but the difference is duration. Weather means we are calculating this particular temperature, pressure and all for a particular area for a short period. But in climate, we are taking all this thing for a long period. Long period means 30 to 40 years. Okay. 40-year average value. Okay, so the average value of the weather over a very long period, that means 30 to 40 year, that is called climate. Okay, that particular climate and the latitude that we just studied has certain relation that we want to study. Around the equator, climate is generally hot. That is called torrid zone. Okay, within the figure you can see this is equator. Okay, so this is equator. Around the equator, that is that particular green color portion. Okay. Around the equator, the temperature is more, that is the torrid zone. Torrid zone. Okay, this green color portion around the equator, that is the torrid zone. There will be more heat. That area will be more hotter. Okay, so torrid basically means hotter area. Okay, that is a torrid zone. Torrid zone you understand, isn't it? Then we can just move into the pole. Okay, so within the North Pole, near the North Pole and near the South Pole, there is an area which is more colder. Okay, that area is referred as frigid zone. Frigid zone. Okay, so this particular area is called as frigid zone. Okay, in between area temperature will be moderate. So that particular moderate, another term is temperate. Temperate means moderate temperature. Okay, moderate temperature containing area. If it is on the northern hemisphere, this is north temperate zone, and if it is on the southern hemisphere, this is south temperate zone. Okay, we can just read out the same thing. Around the equator, climate is generally hot, called torrid zone. Okay, this particular green color area. Okay, as you travel away from the equator towards one of the two poles, in other words, if your latitude increases, climate become more moderate. Okay, if you are just moving from the equator towards the pole like this. Okay, then we are entering into this particular orange colored area, that is temperate zone. Temperate zone means what? Moderate temperature. That is the meaning. Okay, temperate means moderate. Okay, and closer to the north and south pole, climate grow colder. So near the pole means here and here. Okay, in this two area there will be a frigid zone, colder area. Okay, that particular zone is called frigid zone. Frigid means colder. Okay, that particular area is colder area. Okay, so you understand what you mean by torrid zone. Torrid zone is a hotter area, frigid zone is a colder area, it's near the pole, and in between there is a moderate temperature area, that particular orange colored area, that is the temperate zone. Okay, if it is on the northern hemisphere, it is north temperature zone. If it is on the southern hemisphere, we can call south temperate zone, like that. So you understand what is the connection between the latitude and this particular climate. If you are moving from the equator towards the pole, temperature decreasing, isn't it? So if the latitude is increasing means what? Latitude increasing means we are just starting from the equator, that is 0 degree. Okay, then here this particular line, okay, this is 23.5 degree north. Okay, like that particular 23.5 degree north, that is more than 0 degree, isn't it? Then here at the pole, this is 90 degree. Okay, so this is 90 degree north. Okay, so the angle is increasing. That means we are saying latitude increasing. Increase in the latitude basically denoting the angle. That angle is increasing towards the pole. That is the meaning. Okay. Or you can think about like this. This particular line will be at a particular distance. Okay. Then this particular line will be at a particular distance. Okay. So the distance of the second line will be more, isn't it? If you are considering another line towards the pole, this particular distance, just a mark, that will be the largest, isn't it? So in that manner also you can think about the increase in latitude. Okay. So basically increase in latitude denote the angle is increasing. Angle of latitude is increasing. Correspondingly distance between the equator and that particular parallel latitude is also increasing. So that is the meaning of this term, latitude increases. I hope you understand, isn't it? Actually I am explaining little bit more detail. Okay. Why? Because if you are just studying further, okay, if you are just trying for a civil service exam and all, you need a better understanding. Okay. In that time you need to read the same text again. Okay. But to avoid that particular difficulty, you can study the classics on the classics itself, so that you don't need to read the same text again and again. Okay. So that's why I'm explaining little bit detail. Okay. It would be helpful for better clarity and better concept. Okay. For your board exam, maybe mere reading of the text is enough, but for better clarity, I'm just explaining little bit. Okay. I hope it will be helpful. Okay. I hope it is clear what you mean by latitude. So latitude basically run from the west to east. Okay, west to east. If it is through the middle, that particular line we are taking as equator, and we are just considering other parallel latitude with respect to this particular equator. Okay, so we are just drawing many lines. Okay, so these all lines are parallel to each other. That is why they are known as parallel latitude. Okay, that much you understand, isn't it? Now we can move into next topic, that is longitude. Longitude is very simple, nothing to study much. Okay, just we are connecting the north and south pole, that's all. Just assume this is earth. Okay, this is earth, and here this is the north pole, here this is the south pole. We are just connecting the north and south pole. This particular half circle, this is not complete circle, that is a difference. Okay, here only half circle which is connecting the north and south pole, that is one longitude. Okay, then I will draw another one. Okay, this one also connecting the north and south pole, this is another longitude. Okay, so all this longitude will be equal. Okay, why? Because just assume you are just taking an apple and you are just cutting from top to bottom. Okay, this is a top, this is a bottom. Every cut will be of the same distance, isn't it? Just assume that particular apple is a perfect sphere. Okay, in that case every cutting will be of equal length, isn't it? So if you are just cutting from here to here, that particular distance will be equal. Okay, so the north and south pole distance that you are covering while cutting will be equal. So in that manner every longitude will be equal. Okay, equal in distance. But this particular latitude is not like that. Okay, this particular equator encircle the earth. Okay, that will be continuing on the other side like this. Okay, so that particular equator will constitute the largest circle. If you are considering a parallel latitude here, that particular thing will be much smaller compared to this particular equator, isn't it? So the latitudes are not same. When we are moving towards a pole, that particular size of the latitude that will become smaller and smaller. But in case of longitude, every longitude will be of equal length, but it is only half circle. Okay, this is not complete circle, that is a difference. Okay, now we can just read out. Imagine now you are traveling from north pole to south pole by shortest possible line. Observe the globe. You will see that instead of passing through the Europe and Africa, you could just as well as passing through the Asia, distance will be the same. That means just connecting the north and south, that particular shortest distance, that will constitute one longitude. That is a summary. Okay, whether it is passing through the Asia or passing through the Europe and Africa, everything will be same. Okay, we are just talking about parallel latitude. Similarly, here it is meridians of longitude. Okay, meridians of longitude, they are all half circle running from one pole to another. This is one pole, this is another pole. This particular black color one, that is a half circle. So every longitude connecting the north pole and the south pole, okay, which is called meridians of longitude. Okay, meridians of longitude, and that particular meridians of longitude is actually half circle. Okay, they are half circle connecting the north pole and the south pole. That much you understand, isn't it? So here what we are doing is just we are considering one line. Okay, one longitude as prime meridian. Okay, just like equator, this is 0 degree meridian. Okay, 0 degree meridian, meridian of longitude. If you remember, in the case of latitude, we are just consider this particular equator, then we taken a particular angle, that is here it is 50 degree. Then we mark all the points which are at the 50 degree, isn't it? So we are just marked all the points and we are just connected all this thing. then we get that particular 50 degree north latitude. Okay, that is how we find out the latitude. Now we want to find out the longitude. Okay, longitude is also angle, but what is the difference? Difference is, instead of this particular equator we are considering another line. Okay, another line which is running between the north and south. This is north and south, and there is a line. Okay, I am just drawing this particular green color line. That particular green color line which are connecting the north and south. Okay, so that particular line we are considering as prime meridian. Okay, that is a longitude which is connecting the north and south. We are just considering one of the longitude as prime meridian, that is 0 degree meridian. Okay, 0 degree meridian, that is the prime meridian. Now we are just considering a particular angle. Okay, from the prime meridian. Now we can see how we are drawing the longitude. Okay, now we are taking that particular prime meridian. Okay, I am just drawing here also with the same color. Okay, so we are using the green color to denote the prime meridian. This is the prime meridian. This is another hemisphere, and I am just continuing the prime meridian. Okay, so we are just cutting the earth into two. This is the northern hemisphere, this is the southern hemisphere. I am drawing all this thing within the southern hemisphere. Okay, just for understanding. So that particular meridian that we are considering as 0 degree. As you can see, this is 0 degree. Okay, then we are just marking the center of the earth. This is center of the earth, and we are just continuing a line from that particular meridian into center of the earth, and then we are taking an angle 50 degree. So this particular angle is 50 degree. Okay, then we are marking all such a point on the surface of the earth which are at a 50 degree. So we will get so many points which are connecting from the north pole to south pole. All these points will make an angle 50 degree. 50 degree with this particular prime meridian. Okay, this particular angle is 50 degree. Okay, similarly we are taking another angle. Just assume this particular thing. Okay, this is making an angle 45 degree. 45 degree means this particular angle is 45 degree, and we are marking all such a point within the surface of the earth. Okay, and then we are connecting all such a point, then we get another longitude. Okay, that particular longitude will be something like this. Okay, then we can take an angle 60 degree. Okay, so this particular angle is 60 degree. Okay, 60 degree we are taking, and we are just marking all such a point, and we are just connecting all such a point. Okay, then we will getting something like this. So if you are just continuing on the other hemisphere, this will be that particular line. Okay, that particular longitude. So this particular red color one, that constitutes one longitude. Okay, I will just show on the whole map. Do you understand how do we taken that particular angle? So this is a prime meridian. Okay, so this is a prime meridian. Here you can see 220 degree. This is 120 degree towards the east. Okay, towards the east, and there is another 20 degree here. This is towards the west from the prime meridian. Okay, this is very important when we are studying the next portion, that is time determination. So we are just marking all such a point which are at a 20 degree on the surface of the earth. Okay, then we are just connecting all such a line, then we get that particular 20 degree longitude east. We will refer as 20 degree east. 20 degree east, you understand, isn't it? 20 degree from the prime meridian which is on the eastern direction. Then you just say what is this one? 20 degree, we are just marking all the points which are at a 20 degree on the western side. Okay, so we are just marking all the points on the western side. We are just connecting all these particular points. Then we will getting something which is referred as 20 degree west. 20 degree west. Do you understand what you mean by west? West from the prime meridian. Why prime meridian? We just consider prime meridian as the basis, 0 degree. From that we are just measuring the angle. If it is in the eastern direction, if it is 20 degree, we are calling as 20 degree in east. If it is on the western direction, we will call as 20 degree west. We will take some more example. Okay, so this is the prime meridian, this is the prime meridian. We are just taking another angle, for example 60 degree. Okay, so we are just consider the prime meridian. This is a prime meridian. Okay, we are just connecting with the center. So this is a 60 degree. This angle is a 60 degree. Okay, that you need to understand. Just think about a watermelon. Okay, just cutting the watermelon across the middle. Okay, then you will get something like this, isn't it? Then that particular red color portion, this particular portion is a red color portion, isn't it? So just imagine like that. Okay, then only you will understand. So that angle we are taking across that particular cutting plane of the watermelon. Okay, so that particular 60 degree angle we are just marking on the surface, that green color portion on the watermelon. This portion is green colored, right? that is the surface of the earth, isn't it? If it is earth, it is the surface of the earth. We are marking the 60 degree on the surface of the earth, or you can think about watermelon. This is the red color portion. Okay, this is the green color portion. We are marking on the green color portion. All such points which are at the 60 degree from the prime meridian. Okay. If it is a watermelon, this whole thing is a green color portion, isn't it? So that particular green color portion is there, and we are just marking all those points which are at a 60 degree from the prime meridian. So we are just marking this point, okay, we are just marking all the point, okay. Then we are just connecting all such a point, and we are getting a particular meridian of longitude. That particular meridian of longitude is the 60 degree longitude. This particular 60 degree longitude just I had drawn, that is on the eastern side. So we will write as 60 degree east, 60 degree east. Then we can just think about other side. Okay, here also 60 degree. We are just marking all such a point which are on the western side and which are making an angle 60 degree with the prime meridian. Okay, we are just connecting all such line. So we are getting a particular longitude. Okay, that particular longitude is 60 degree west, 60 degree west longitude. Okay, 60 degree west meridian of longitude. Okay, so that particular longitude we are drawing, that particular line is meridian of longitude. Okay, basically the longitude denotes the angle. This particular 60 degree is the longitude. That particular connecting that particular line, that is meridian of longitude, that is 60 degree west meridian of longitude. That is a correct name. Just we studied parallel latitude, isn't it? Similarly, that particular line that we just drawn, half circle, that is meridian of longitude. Okay, this is 60 degree west meridian of longitude. Then this particular blue color one will be the 60 degree east meridian of longitude. I will take two more examples for understanding. Okay, so this is the prime meridian. Okay, I am just marking the prime meridian. I am just marking the center. Okay, we are just connecting the prime meridian with the center. Okay, then we are taking an angle. Just assume this is the 80 degree. Okay, so this is the 80 degree between the 75 and the 90. Okay, so we are marking all such points which are at 80 degree with the prime meridian on the eastern side. Okay, first we will mark on the eastern side. Then we are just connecting all such points. Okay, these are all points with 80 degree. Okay, then we are just connecting all such points, and we are getting something which is called what? 80 degree. Yes, what you are saying is correct. 80 degree east. Okay, 80 degree east meridian of longitude. Okay, then we are just doing the same thing on the other side also. We are just marking all such a point which are at 80 degree. Okay, so here is one point, here is one point, here is one point. Okay, here is one point, here is one point, and we are just connecting all such a point through the 80 degree. Okay, so we are getting another meridian of longitude, that is, so what is the name of this particular longitude? That is 80 degree west. Okay, 80 degree west meridian of longitude. Do you understand what you mean by meridian of longitude? That particular longitude, that particular line, half circle we just drawn, that is meridian of longitude. Okay, what is longitude? Longitude is this particular angle. Okay, basically this angle 80 degree, that is the meridian. Okay, meridian is same in both cases. What is the difference? One is on the eastern side, that is why it is 80 degree east meridian of longitude. Here it is on the western side, that is why that particular meridian of longitude is 80 degree west. Okay, angle is same but direction is different. Okay, so one is on the eastern side, one is on the western side, that is a difference. Okay, so the value of the angle is same but the direction is different, so the meridians are also different. Okay, how do we find out the direction? We are finding the direction with respect to this particular thing. Okay, that is a 0 degree longitude. Just like we are considering the equator in the case of latitude, we are considering prime meridian in the case of longitude. I will just summarize what we studied. Okay, so we are just considering a particular earth. Okay, this is your earth. Okay, then we are just marking the equator. So this is the equator. Okay, this is 0 degree equator. Okay, then we are just marking all such a point which is at a 30 degree, and we are just connecting all such a point. We are getting something called 30 degree north. Okay, so this is 30 degree north parallel latitude. Okay, then we take in another angle, that is 60 degree, and we are just marking all such a point. We are getting something called 60 degree north parallel latitude. Okay, this whole lines are parallel, that is why parallel latitude. Why latitude? Latitude means this particular angle. Okay, if it is on the northern hemisphere, we are just denoting with the north. If it is on the southern hemisphere, if 30 degree southern hemisphere, then it will be 30 degree south. Okay, like that you understand, isn't it? Now we are considering the north pole. Okay, this is a north pole and this is a south pole. Okay, then there is something called prime meridian. Prime meridian means just like equator, 0 degree meridian or longitude. Okay, then we are just taking a particular angle 10 degree. Okay, this is 10 degree, Okay, 10 degree, we are just connecting all such points which are at 10 degree. Okay, we are just connecting all such points. We are getting something called 10 degree east longitude. Why east? This particular direction is east. Okay, east we studied in the first class itself. Okay, if you have any doubt, you just refer the first video. Okay, so that particular east is here. So this particular 10 degree east meridian longitude we just draw. Okay, similarly you can draw another meridian. Okay, we are just taking another angle. Say for example we are taking 60 degree. Here it is 60 degree, here also 60 degree, here also 60 degree. We are just denoting all the points which are at 60 degree on the surface of the earth. We are just connecting all such a point from the north pole to south pole. Okay, then we are getting another meridian. Okay, that particular meridian is, what's the name of that particular meridian? That is 60 degree west meridian longitude. Okay, I hope it's clear how to draw a particular meridian, how to draw a particular parallel latitude. That much clear, isn't it? Then we studied two characteristics, isn't it? Each longitude will be of equal length. Okay, so this all length will be equal. Why? Because they are all connecting the same thing, that is north pole and the south pole. Okay, then one more thing, this is equator. Okay, if this is equator, the distance between the two adjacent meridian, okay, this one and this one, so this distance will be more compared to this particular distance. Okay, so if you are just moving from the equator towards the pole, okay, that particular distance between the meridian will decrease. Okay, gradually decrease. For example, here you can consider this one, this prime meridian, and this one. Okay, so that particular distance, here it is more, here it is less, isn't it? Like that. So if you are just moving towards a pole, that particular distance between the meridian will decrease. So it will be more near the equator and it will be least near the pole. Okay, there is an experiment given here that we will study later. Okay, then we can just read out the thing. To measure the longitude, we need to define a reference point, that is prime meridian, that you already studied, isn't it? So this is earth. Okay, so this is earth. We are just considering a particular meridian connecting the north and south pole. That particular meridian is the prime meridian. 0 degree meridian is the prime meridian. Just like in the case of latitude, there is an equator, there will be something called prime meridian in the case of longitude. Okay, then it is also called Greenwich meridian because in the year 1884, some nation decided that meridian passing through the Greenwich is an area. Okay, is an area on the London in England, would become the international standard for prime meridian. It is marked as 0 degree longitude. Basically, this 0 degree longitude determined in a particular year 1884. Okay, that particular meridian also called Greenwich meridian because that particular imaginary line passing through the Greenwich. That is why. Okay, actually there are lot of meridian, isn't it? Lot of lines which are connecting the north and south pole. Okay, so one of them is called as Greenwich meridian. Okay, one of them passing through the Greenwich in London. That particular meridian we just consider as base. Okay, that particular meridian we consider as 0 degree longitude. That particular meridian is called prime meridian or Greenwich meridian. Why Greenwich meridian? Why? Because that is passing through a particular place called Greenwich in London. Okay, just as latitude is a measure of distance from the equator if you travel towards a pole, longitude is a measure of distance from the prime meridian if you are traveling along the equator. That means you just consider this is the earth. Okay, this is the equator. So the latitude will be something like this, isn't it? So here is one latitude. Okay, then here is another latitude. Okay, like that. That particular parallel latitude we will get when we are moving from the equator towards the pole. Okay, we will get different latitude. Similarly, if you are moving along the equator, okay, just assume you are moving along the equator. So here is prime meridian. Okay, then if you are moving towards the east, then you will get another meridian, that is just assume 10 degree east meridian or longitude. Okay, then we will get another meridian, that is 20 degree east meridian or longitude, like that. Okay, if you are moving along the equator, that means if you are moving either on eastern side or western side. If you are moving western side, just assume this is 30 degree west meridian or longitude. Then we are getting another meridian, for example 60 degree west meridian or longitude. Okay, like that. So that is what they are saying. Longitude is a measure of distance from the prime meridian. That you understand, isn't it? If you are moving along the equator means either towards the east or towards the west. Okay, longitude too measured in degree, that we already studied, isn't it? 30 degrees, 40 degree west, like that. So the longitude is measured in degree westward or eastward. This we already discussed. It increases value from 0 to 180 degree with the letter west or east added. Okay, so that particular angle will be 180 degree maximum. Okay, how 180 degree? See, we are starting from prime meridian. Okay, so we are just taking the angle in this direction also, in this direction also. So this is 50 degree, this is also 50 degree, this is 30 degree, this is also 30 degree, this is 45 degree, this is also 45 degree. Okay, this is 90 degree, this is also 90 degree. Okay, so that particular angle, this particular angle is 90 degree, this particular angle is also 90 degree. Okay, then we are just moving ahead. So just assume here 150 degree. Okay, that means this particular angle, okay, this particular angle is 150 degree. Similarly on the other side also there will be 150 degree, like this one. Okay, this is also 150 degree. Similarly if you are just moving ahead, okay, this particular point 180 degree. Okay, if you are just moving towards the east, you will get a particular point 180 degree. That means if you are just draw the line, this particular angle is 180 degree. Similarly you can draw on the other side also. If you are just moving towards the east, then also you will get a 180 degree, isn't it? This particular angle, well, that is also 180 degree. But this both the points are same, isn't it? If you are going towards the east, if you are going towards the west, we are just meeting at this particular 180 degree. So that is why the maximum angle is 180 degree. Okay, 180 degree east, 180 degree west, both are same, both are denoting the same meridian. Okay, so that is why this particular range is from the 0 degree to 180 degree. Okay, so 0 degree means that particular prime meridian. Okay, so this is a prime meridian. Then 180 degree means just the opposite. Okay, just the opposite side there will be a meridian, isn't it? That will be the 180 degree. Okay, that blue color line will be the opposite of the prime meridian. Okay, you can just assume. Okay, then you can just denote the particular place with a longitude. Okay, New York will be at 70 degree west, while Delhi is at 77 degree east, Tokyo is 140 degree east, like that. What is the meaning? Just assume this is a earth. Okay, this is a earth and this is a prime meridian. Okay, then if it is 74 degree west, that means that particular 74 degree longitude will be there, isn't it? So the New York will be somewhere here. Okay, so New York will be somewhere here in the 74 degree west. Then Delhi in 77 degree east. 77 degree east means there will be in 77 degree east meridional longitude. Just assume this green color one. So Delhi is within that particular meridian. Okay, then Tokyo is 140 degree east. 140 degree east means there will be a particular meridian 140 degree. Okay, just assume this is a 140 degree meridian. Okay, then Tokyo will be somewhere here. Okay, so that particular meridian containing the Tokyo, that is the meaning. I hope it is clear. So we just understand this particular meridian 180 degree east and 180 degree west are on the same longitude. Okay, so this longitude noted as 180 degree, omitting the letter west or east. Why? Because both are same, isn't it? We are just reaching the just the opposite of the prime meridian. That is the meaning. Okay, you can just think about you are cutting a watermelon. Okay, one side you are cutting, that is the prime meridian. If you are just continuing with the other side, so that particular line will be the 180 degree. Okay, so that particular thing will be divide the earth into eastern hemisphere. That means on the eastern side of the prime meridian, and western hemisphere. That means on the western side of the hemisphere. Similarly, this equator also will divide the earth into two. That is on the northern side northern hemisphere and the southern side southern hemisphere. Okay. So we just study what you mean by equator, what you mean by Greenwich meridian. Greenwich meridian also known as prime meridian, 0 degree meridian. Okay, till that we studied about latitude and longitude. These together are the two coordinates of the place. Okay, if you want to mark a particular place, you need to denote that particular place with the latitude and the longitude, just like we just denote the place in the chessboard, isn't it? Same thing. With them, you are now able to locate any place on the earth. Now we can just locate a particular place. I will just give an example. So just assume you want to mark a particular point here. Okay, so this is a point. First we want to connect with the latitude. Okay, so to connect with the latitude, just think about what are the latitude. Okay, latitudes are the parallel line. So you just mark that particular line passing through that particular point. Okay, so this is a latitude. Okay, so that latitude is given here 30 degree north. And then we want to think about the longitude. Okay, you want to connect the longitude. Okay, so just mark the longitude which are passing through that particular point. Okay, so this is the longitude. Okay, then you understand that particular longitude is given here as 30 degrees. Okay, so this particular point can be denoted as 30 degree north, 30 degree east. Very simple, isn't it? Now you can think about another point. Okay, so just assume you want to mark a particular point here. Okay, here also the particular latitude will be same, that is 30 degree north. Okay, so this 30 degree north will be the latitude, but longitude will be different. Why? Because we want to connect that particular longitude. Okay, so if you are connecting the longitude, you will get 60 degrees. So this particular point can be denoted as 30 degree north, 60 degrees, like that. Okay, I hope you understand. This is just like what we done in the chessboard, isn't it? just connect the both the latitude and longitude, that's all. Okay, we can take some more example. So just assume this point. Okay, first we want to find out the latitude. Just we are connecting the latitude. This is the latitude, so you understand this is the latitude 60 degree north. Then we want to connect the longitude. Okay, longitude, just connect the longitude. Okay, longitude is this one, so that longitude will be 30 degrees. So that particular point, this particular point will be 60 degree north, 30 degree east. Okay, this we call as coordinate of this particular point. Okay, then we can take another example. I hope you watched the chessboard video. If you are already watched that particular video, it would be much more simpler. Okay, so I hope you understand what you mean by this coordinate. Coordinate basically to denote a particular place on the earth. Okay, we are denoting the latitude and longitude, that is referred as coordinate of that particular point. Okay, point on the earth. So we already shown that particular parallel latitude and the meridian longitude on the diagram. All these lines together constitute grid of a globe. That particular lines, okay, that particular lines, they are called grid. They constitute the grid. Grid constituted by this particular latitude and the longitude. Okay, they are also known as grid line. So grid line basically constituted by what? Constituted by latitude and longitude. Okay, now you can just mark this particular latitude and longitude for the cities Mumbai, Kolkata, Singapore, Paris. Okay, just look at your atlas. You just find out what is the latitude and the longitude for each of them. Okay, so that you want to do yourself. Okay, you just find out and comment. Okay, so I'm just summarizing. There is a 0 degree latitude, that is the equator. Okay, this is the equator, and there are many parallels of latitude. Okay, something like this. These are all parallels of latitude. Okay, then there is something called longitude, which is connecting the north pole and south pole. Okay, so this particular latitude and longitude, all the lines shown here, they all together constitute the grid. Okay, that particular thing can be used to find out a location of a particular place. That much we studied today, and the next class we will study further how to find out the time of a particular place. Okay, then we want to discuss some questions also. Okay, so if you are understanding, you just like this video and just share with your friends also. Okay, if you have any suggestion, you just comment below. Okay, I will improve based on that on the next video. Okay, just subscribe this channel to get the notification of the next video. Okay, I hope you have a nice day. Thank you for watching. We can meet in the next video.